Hello, my name is Korean Anime, also known as SKD Zark in gaming, or I'm known as Fellflower, specifically in Genshin. This is just going to be a very short, hopefully very short, analysis or just thoughts on 3.0, specifically Sumeru. A little bit of the live streaming trailer. I'm not going to give my lore thoughts because they're kind of jumbled right now, and I'm watching like Murder Birds analysis and AHHH's stream. To get an understand, like, just different perspectives of what it could be. I mean, the Ermin Soul alone is already huge lore. And I actually have a theory that at the very end, the person who said the world forget me is actually Ruka Devata, not Kusanali, because I don't know, there's something about the voice that sounds a little too older to be Kusanali. That's my speculation. Anyway, pretty sure. So basically, the live stream and the trailer has been a big win for the lore theorists. You know, people who have invested in the story. We have a lot to digest and to unpack. We got Kale. Kale's coming. You know, if you read the manga, you know she's a very prominent figure, in the story. You know, with the curse, the archon that was inside her that she was cursed and experimented on with, you know, then freed, thanks to Sino. Yes, I think they call it Sino, in the manga. So yeah, she's gonna be really interesting. I want to get her and like memorize her lore to see if maybe her character stories will hint at that part. I know a lot of people don't read the manga. Oop, that was an accident. Actually, yeah, that's right, I was right. But it's, so if you haven't read the manga yet, you can check out Webtoon. You can also just type in like Genshin Impact manga, all chapters, or read online. Because there are some sites that have all the chapters available in English. The Webtoon has up to I think chapter 13. It's not all the chapters because I think the manga's, I think the manga's like 14 or 16 chapters. But the Webtoon doesn't have all the chapters. It has most of them though, but it doesn't have all of them. So you can check that out. It's very, very good. And it came out before the game, actually. Oh, never mind about that. And like I said, I'm excited for Kale. I'll build her, even if she's not a great unit. I mean, she's free, so I doubt they'll make a free 4-star super good or broken. I mean, she probably will be good in some aspects. But even if she's like really bad, I just will build her or use her just to get Friendship 10 and like unlock all of her lore and the little cute banner. Why not? Ooh, double. That's nice. Anyway, and on that note, I would also build Amber, but she's not C2. I will only build Amber as a promise made. I will only build Amber if she's C2, and that hasn't happened yet. She's only C0. Might not happen for another couple years, but maybe in the future. Okay, aside from lore, we also have new gameplay and reactions for Dendro. You know, we got Burning, we got Catalyst, or Quicken, we got Bloom, and then all the different mechanics in between. At this point, I'm gonna probably focus on Catalyze, or the Quicken reactions, which is Electro and Dendro. So with the free Kale and also maybe like Dendro MC, because I'm actually not going to pull for taking Ari. I'm just going to pray in the future to lose 50-50 on him. I will see if I can maybe do like either a Halo driver or if I do a official team. Because I think based on Quicken, and then that goes into Aggravate, official is probably going to be super good. And I don't have official at Friendship 10 yet, so it's going to be something I'm going to focus on. And, you know, that also leads to, like, some of the people aren't super happy with reactions or even with the live streams. So I'll go to my next point, which is basically, like, the thoughts on the overall state of the game. I know some people were unhappy about it. You know, that's perfectly fine. They have valid criticisms and points about it. And at this state of the game, let me see, I think it's this one. It's easier to accept that, you know, Genshin is, first and foremost, it is a single-player, open-world, action, They call it RPG. I don't know. With gacha mechanics, it has combat and it does fun with elemental reactions. But in the end, they focus on the story over everything else. Everything else is more or less secondary, and you mostly, if you enjoy Genshin, you do it for the story. Because everything has story, everything has lore. I mean, if you go to a weapon, I mean, I can even show you, like, right here. If you go to the archive, if you go, like, to your equipment, every weapon has a little bit of lore. I mean, the lore ones have a little bit, but then you get, like, to 3 stars or even 4 stars. Some 5 stars have really long lore behind it. It's same with the artifacts. Like, even every single piece has a story. I mean, some of the craziest ones are like the prayers of illumination goes into a lot of the backstory. So, like, yeah, you got artifacts, you got weapons on story, living creatures have lore, the little bit here and there, like a description. Same with, like, I would say even, again, some of the story. And now you could say the same for materials. In fact, some of the most messed up lore, in my opinion, is sea Ganoderma. 'Cause, yeah, it's messed up. Even if it's not true, it's still messed up. So they do, like I said, they focus a lot on the descriptions of everything that tells or builds the world. You know, they got focus on the story quests, world quests, you know, Archon quests. It's story that we as a traveler are going through a journey and experiencing. Let me see if I changed the time, because I probably did it at midnight, I don't know. And in that aspect, even the combat, or even the character screen, like when the character is praying to the artifacts, I mean, there's already inspirations from, like, I forgot, it was like specific Buddhist elements. I don't remember the exact dev notes. There was a dev interview that talked about that a while back. But, and the hard part about that is when you're focusing on the story primarily, for people that enjoy the combat, that enjoy meta, that enjoy, you know, endgame, or they want harder content, it's not going to satisfy them. It's not going to be something they're going to care about, and that's perfectly fine. This is a game that is not for everyone. It's not for people that will enjoy those kinds of things if it doesn't provide it. So I do think in that sense, the praise and critique for the different aspects of the game is very valid. You know, I do believe that there is quite a few problems with the game, especially with the RNG on the artifacts. The resin system is pretty bad, but it's still better than it was. Like, when it came out 1.0, there has been changes with the resin system that got it better. I personally believe that the game's not going to change drastically. I do think they will add more QL quality of life updates. You know, maybe they'll optimize resin a little bit more in the future. Like, if they have more world bosses, eventually they'll have to cut resin even more. Otherwise, you know, got too many world bosses and not enough resin for the week, which would be a problem. And actually, in 3.0 live stream, they did mention, like, they're going to add more artifacts to the strongbox up to 1.2, which is decent. You know, it's not the greatest, but it still saves up resin, at least for those artifacts. And I do have a lot of unused 5 stars that I will be happy to change for hopefully a 4-piece Stunning Fury. So, you know, if you have a lot of 5-star artifacts that is trash, or you don't really like, you can use the strongbox for older artifacts up to 1.2, which would be nice. And there's also other quality of life updates they will likely release in the patch notes. I think most people actually like them, because they're actually pretty good quality of life updates. Not the best, but they're actually pretty good, and it'll make things a little bit easier. Actually, there's a big one that's coming. That's definitely gonna be a lot of fun, but I won't say what it is. So hopefully when Patch Notes comes out, you guys will be excited for that. And then one thing I wish, I do have a criticism for, I do hope myself and a lot of other players, is I do hope they will add an endgame. It's very unlikely at this point. You know, it's been 2 years, and the only aspect of the element of the game that is true in game is Spiral Abyss. And Spiral Abyss has really bad rewards for gotcha. I mean, at least we get primos, but you have to really build teams to get all the primos, and for most people it's not worth it, and that's perfectly fine. In my opinion, I don't think they'll add another endgame element in Sumeru, but I do think it's possible in future updates they'll still add some. But it will have to be story focused, because again, a lot of things they do in the game is focused on story. And actually, I can't get Tokiali Tales 4, so I'm gonna go to here for more fish. Or lore focus. So I think if they're ever gonna add an end game, I think it's gonna be related or take place in one of 3 locations. Either gonna be in Celestia, like if we fight gods in Celestia or something like that, like fighting very hard opponents. That would be definitely much more like endgame-ish. Kanya, meaning from the story preview a couple years back, when they did the roadmap for the game, Kanya is the last chapter. So I think if they're going to do anything like that, it would probably in the one location that is difficult to navigate through, you know. It's unlikely, but because then it'll be near the end of the game. But it's always possible. But the one that is, in my opinion, probably the most likely will be in Natlan, the Mayor Javari. And if you know the Mayor Javari, you know one thing, it's basically the one location in the world that has resulted in many adventurers dying. It's a difficult domain or realm. I think if lore-wise, if they ever do another endgame like Spiral Abyss or something even harder, Mayor Javari is the most likely location that will have like another endgame. That's just my speculation, though. It's not something that is confirmed. They might never add another endgame, you know, which would be sad. But I think, you know, that's the way they want the game. That's how it is then. So I'm not gonna get my hopes up too high. Sorry about it. But you know what? It's in the end, this is a casual game, and as long as you're having fun, one way or another, then it serves its purpose. Basically, you know, you have fun. It doesn't cause any extra stress. Well, it shouldn't cause any stress. You know, it's to take a break from stress. To enjoy the story, to enjoy the gameplay, and to enjoy the mechanics, whatever you're interested in. If it fulfills that little tick, wherever that tick may be, you know, then Genshin's a good game in that regard. And hopefully, I am very excited for Sumeru. I hope there is a lot of, you know, good content in the future with it in terms of story. And, you know, they delivered so far. I have my hopes up for that. And if they ever do add combat or, like, endgame, that would be really nice. Although, like I said, I don't think it'll be in Sumeru. So, with that said, I hope you enjoy the video. And I hope I can get 500 fish. Man. Come on. Thank you. Alright.